I got some amazing news for you guys. This has become profitable. Grid stabilization, that is, has become profitable for NIO. And also we have Dr. Shinfei address some of the recent battery swap info and some news related to that. But first, I want to show you this. This, my friend, represents the next frontier for battery swap, and this is a patent from Geely, and in it, it shows a battery swappable EREV, extended range electric vehicle, sort of like what Li Auto has, those hybrid cars. So it's a hybrid car that can also do battery swap. It's Geely's patent, so we can assume that very soon Geely is going to come out with a product like this using NIO's swap station. And of course, this is just the best of both worlds, right? You know, hybrid vehicles have been selling quite well here in China, EREVs in particular, and then customers want that, you give them that. Customers like battery swap and the convenience of that, you also give them that. So you have all three. You got gas, you got just your EV, and also battery swap in one vehicle, which is absolutely amazing. Here, take a look at this. This was shared by Dr. Shinfei, the head of NIO Power, on his Weibo, which is like Twitter, and he shared about the profitability news of grid stabilization. And we'll go over the numbers and we'll break them down for you. But what's really nice is that he called it sort of like pocket money, or almost like a side quest. Of course, the main revenue generation for battery swap is still, cars getting a battery swap. But grid stabilization is like, the side pocket change money that you get. And this has become profitable. Now let's take a look at the numbers. So this chart shows the profitability of the swap stations. We have the megawatt hours, and you can see 1,780.53 megawatt hours, and that's the amount of electricity that was participating in the grid stabilization. And by the way, this was for the month of December. Now, he hasn't specified if this is one swap station or a group of swap stations, but it's pretty clear that this is like probably a group of swap stations, because 1,780 megawatt hours is about 1.7 million kilowatt hours. And if you do some math, that is pretty much equivalent to the 70 kilowatt hour battery pack. It holds 70 kilowatt hours, of course. It's equivalent to that being discharged 25,428 times. So clearly that's probably more than one battery swap station. But what's more important is if we look at the number on the right, the number on the right says 89,000 RMB, and this is pure profit. And this is, of course, for a group of swap stations. And 89,000 RMB in about US dollars is about 13,000 US dollars. Now this is for a month for a group of swap stations, and he called it pocket change, but clearly what's going on is that, of course, it's not all the swap stations are doing grid stabilization, but also you can't do grid stabilization all the time because you still have to do battery swap. Now, this second chart is very interesting because it does show the number of swap stations. The third column over there, you have 774. These are the number of swap stations that are going to do the grid stabilization on that certain date. And then on the column to the right of that are the actual number of swap stations that did participate in grid stabilization. So clearly what's happening is, even though you have on, for example, March 24th, you got 74 swap stations that want to do grid stabilization. Only 37 can do grid stabilization because probably the rest need to do swapping and don't have excess electricity for stabilization. But still, needless to see, 37 swap stations on a certain one day generates them 4,670 RMB in profit in just one day. That's pretty amazing. And if you look earlier, for example, number 2, right, on March 11th, 74 swap stations registered, 64 actually participated in grid stabilization. They were able to earn 13,183.73 RMB from grid stabilization. And this is just one day, right? This is just one day. And here's something quite shocking. So NIO just recently deployed 3,200 swap stations. So now they have 3,200. And if you do some math, well, with 64, they earned that much money. Well, with 3,200, if all of them were participating in grid stabilization, and with that profitability, they could be looking at 659,000 RMB in side income per day, which is absolutely crazy. And of course, the CEO has said in the past that in Europe, grid stabilization earns them a whole lot more money than anything else that they could ever imagine. So this is pretty good news, and hopefully more swap stations get into the action of grid stabilization. And slowly and surely, I'm hoping that everything becomes profitable. And here we have Dr. Shenfei delivering some other news for us.
The 400V platform and 800V battery pack will have different uses, but it won't affect user experience. Both will charge as needed. You don't need to worry about this at all. Batteries will be standardized in the future. We define current car batteries as 0. Industry standard batteries are defined as 1. We're working to transition from 0 to 1. Battery specs mean future replacements. We can't stop progress due to battery swapping. Battery tech won't stay stagnant. Our 2018 users can now use 100 kWh batteries. Sometimes even 150 kWh batteries are available, but our battery tech keeps advancing. We hope for even better batteries in the future. Battery swap users benefit from tech progress. These benefits will continue to evolve. We can't stop iterating. We'll always have chances to improve.
So basically what he's saying is that the 400 and 800 volt batteries will not be compatible, meaning, of course, the current NIOs cannot swap onto the ET9's battery pack, and vice versa. ET9 batteries cannot be swapped into current NIOs like that. But what he's said very importantly in that video is the fact that right now everything is still 0 because you don't have the unified standard. And once the government and I guess China comes out with a unified standard and everybody's going to use that one battery pack, then that is what they're going to go for. And that's what he called 1. Right now everything is 0. So before that happens, everything they shouldn't be hindered by the fact that they have battery swap, and they need to constantly progress and make their batteries better as well, and shouldn't just be stuck on 400 volt. So definitely very interesting to see. That means going forward there's going to be new battery sizes and new battery variants until eventually it all becomes standardized. But before then, you're going to see more and better batteries in new vehicles. And of course, they're going to have to place these in swap stations. And of course, they're going to have bigger swap stations with bigger capacity. And of course, they will be able to accommodate all these new battery packs, which is very nice. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.